Now that Jerome has passed away, the Saint family must decide what to do, since Teddy is running out of friends and has more to worry about than just Franklin. And Franklin controls his emotions. Louis steps to the side as Devon Franklin converses with a mortician, still covered in blood and bruises from Kane's men. Only when prevented from escorting Jerome's corpse into a back room at the funeral home does she speak. The now widow becomes agitated, and Leon tenderly grabs her and takes her home. Franklin sees his mother and Wanda while Leon cares for Louis. As soon as she notices something is wrong, Sissy questions Franklin about Jerome. Simple head no, says her kid. When they arrive at the funeral home with their mother, the young saint shows her her brother's dead corpse. Franklin puts his palm on her shoulder in an effort to comfort her despite the lack of emotion on her face. She rejects his contact and turns to leave. The two ladies converse after Sissy visits Louis's house the following day. Sissy points out that Jerome adored Louis and that the family's quarrels must end. Louis responds that Franklin is to blame for what transpired. Sissy acknowledges that her son has gotten in his fair share of muck, but asserts that nobody's going home with clean hands. Louis claims she lost her spouse as if it were a contest. Sissy responds that she lost him as well as her own spouse. She additionally doesn't want to lose anyone else. Then, jeeringly stating, "I understand you still have things you care about. I don't," Jerome's widow adds, "I don't." Franklin is in bed with Veronique that night when he begins to panic while he is sleeping. He claims he can't breathe as he gasps for oxygen and awakens from his nightmare. Veronique assures him that everything is good, but he protests. Sissy puts her palm on her brother's coffin at the funeral and apologizes in a low voice. If Jerome had contacted him on the day of his death, Louis asks disgraced officer Buckley. Jerome never phoned, according to Buckley's fabrication. Franklin is the subject of her ensuing discussion. Louis questions him in private as to why he returned to save her from Kane. According to Franklin, he couldn't let her suffer because he was raised to honor women. She made a pledge to help him get to Teddy if he helped her, he says, and she kept that promise while she was imprisoned in the warehouse. Louis then declares Franklin to be the demon. "Yeah, I know," he responds. Teddy can't stop calling Louis's beeper as he grieves. She reluctantly consents to the meeting when she eventually calls him back. Teddy immediately informs her that he requires her assistance in getting to Franklin when they first meet. Teddy tells her to change that and reminds her that she works for him when she complains that they don't socialize. As a result, Louis snaps and tells Teddy about Jerome's passing. After Jerome's funeral, she pledges to assist Teddy, but she prefers to be left alone right now. Given that she made pledges to both Franklin and Teddy, it is still unclear whether she will actually support one of them in their conflict. Teddy's enemies appear to be all the main players, starting with Ruben, who unexpectedly visits Gustavo at home and threatens to harm the former wrestler and his family if he doesn't assist the KGB in getting Teddy imprisoned for drug-related offenses. He wants Gustavo to ensure that a future cargo of cocaine arrives in Teddy's warehouse within the next 2 days so that Teddy can be apprehended. Not only do Ruben's remarks unnerve Gustavo, but Sayamara as well. After the KGB agent departs, she secures the front door, tells Gustavo they must break up, and that he shouldn't know where she plans to flee with the children. Gustavo informs Franklin of the KGB danger while asking for financial assistance and family passports. Gustavo also reveals that the D has been using him as a spy and is tired of him. They have taken his money, threatened to put him in jail, and fired him. Franklin panics but decides to take Gustavo's word that the D lacks the resources to make an arrest of him. He agrees to assist Gustavo in chasing Teddy while he temporarily appeases the D. Also making Teddy's back a target is his ex-wife Julia. Teddy receives a visit from her while expecting, pleading with him to stop endangering their unborn child and return Franklin's money. Teddy's ex also rips him for saying he's a part of the covert drug operation because it's his patriotic responsibility. She believes that he is actually involved in order to make a statement to a father who he didn't even like. By warning him to make things right or she will, Julia stops her tirade. When he questions her about how she would go about doing that, she responds curtly, "A public execution." Last but not least, Teddy's predicament has grown old to the CIA. Steven, Teddy's CIA contact, speaks with the lead CIA operative about Teddy's problems with Franklin and the KGB. The in-charge operative orders Steven to clear everything up before things worsen, not by mixing words. Wanda is concerned about her husband's future after Jerome's passing. Leon wonders what she is doing as she packs her things in their apartment. She informs him that while she is staying with him, she is abandoning the projects. In a perfect universe, according to Wanda, they would be returning to Ghana to start a family. She only sees the two of them traveling toward a destiny akin to Jerome and Louis, with her burying him. Wanda doesn't trust Leon when he claims that he simply needs more time to set up things in the projects before they can depart. In the end, Wanda accepts Sissy's offer of an apartment and the post of director of the homeless shelter, which the Saint matriarch had opted to leave. Thank you for viewing. If you're interested in more videos, please subscribe to our channel.